The surfers of the lost swell. When backpackers fly into the Philippines, their minds are fixed on paradise. They chase the world-class waves, the white sand beaches, and the hidden reef breaks of the outer islands. But traveling off the beaten path requires moving through massive transit hubs where thousands of souls cross paths every single hour. And if you choose to step off the grid before you even reach your destination, you might find out that the gap between the airport doors and the open ocean is a dark, unpredictable void. I'm an expat living out in the provinces, and you're watching The Walking Expat, Philippine Mysteries. For young, adventurous travelers, the remote coastal villages of the Philippines are the ultimate destination. Places where life moves slow, the locals are incredibly welcoming, and the waves are pristine. Two friends from Israel, Avi and Lior, had spent months planning a dream surfing expedition to a legendary, isolated reef break on the eastern coast. They were seasoned travelers, physically fit, and well accustomed to navigating rough terrain. They landed in Manila on a clear Friday morning, packed with heavy surfboard bags and minimal luggage, but they never caught a single wave. They stepped out into the terminal drop-off lane, loaded their gear into a vehicle, and vanished into a mystery that remains completely unsolved to this day. Avi and Lior had arrived on a long-haul flight, eager to avoid the congested city center of Manila. Their plan was to immediately hire a long-distance private transport to drive them through the night, crossing the rugged mountain passes to reach the coastal surf camps by dawn. Airport security cameras tracked them through the arrivals hall. They looked relaxed, smiling, and carrying their distinctive, brightly colored surfboard coffins over their shoulders. At exactly 11 in the morning, they walked out to the secondary arrivals curb, away from the heavily monitored official taxi ranks. A grainy exterior camera caught them interacting with a driver operating a dark, full-sized utility van with heavily tinted windows. The driver helped them strap their long surfboard bags securely to the roof rack. The two friends climbed into the back. The sliding door clicked shut, and the van pulled out into the highway traffic. That was the last physical trace of Avi and Lee. A week passed, and the surf camp on the coast reported to the authorities that the two guests had never arrived for their booking. Back home in Israel, their families panicked when the friends' daily social media updates and messages ceased entirely. An international missing persons investigation was launched immediately. Because the travelers were foreign citizens, the embassy worked directly with Philippine national law enforcement to retrace the van's route. Investigators analyzed the tollway camera networks leading out of Metro Manila. They found a massive, baffling discrepancy. The dark utility van matching the description was caught on camera entering the main northern expressway, but it never cleared any of the exit tolls on the other side. It was as if the vehicle, the driver, the two surfers, and their massive surfboard bags had simply dissolved somewhere along a 50-mile stretch of heavily traveled highway. The investigation hit a brick wall almost instantly. Digital forensics teams checked the travelers' mobile phones, but both devices had gone completely offline at the exact same minute, less than half an hour after leaving the airport terminal. Their bank accounts remained entirely stagnant, with no unusual withdrawals or electronic activity. Speculation ran rampant across international travel forums. Some feared a targeted kidnapping for ransom, given the assumption of tourist wealth, but no demands were ever made. Others wondered if the vehicle had suffered a catastrophic accident, plunging off a remote, unmonitored mountain ridge into a deep jungle ravine where it remained hidden by the thick canopy. Local provincial communities along the route were interviewed, but no one had seen the distinctive surfboard bags or the dark van. Avi and Lior had vanished without leaving behind a single piece of physical evidence, a body, or a vehicle match. Years later, the case remains one of the most haunting unresolved disappearances in the history of local tourism. Two young men at the peak of their lives walked out of a modern airport and into total anonymity, leaving behind a cold trail and families who still look at the ocean with breaking hearts. Expat life in the provinces is a beautiful adventure, but it reminds us that the journey between the gateway and the destination requires vigilance. I still take my daily walks down the quiet provincial paths, watching the waves roll into the shore. Out here, the ocean always tells a story. But whenever I see a traveler with a surfboard bag heading down a lonely highway, I say a quiet prayer that their journey finds the shore, because some swells carry travelers into shadows they can never return from.